Good morning, everyone. For the record, I'm within 25 feet of my badge, so hopefully no one's going to just jump on me at any moment. My name is Paul. I'm Global Head of Trust and Safety at Concentrix. It's really great to be here. I'm also a serial attendee of TrustCon, 3 from 3, Charlotte. I want a badge next time, please. That would be great. We're actually delighted to be part of TrustCon and to be a sponsor of TrustCon. We think it's a really, really important event for the community. We actually have 10 minutes this morning. I'm only going to use one of them. You'll be delighted to learn as I hand over to a much more interesting topic. But I want to take that time to really talk about how important the community is that's been developed by TSPA. We really believe that active participation in this community drives incredible results, and we want to continue that with those of you that we don't yet know, so please come over and make yourselves available to our team just to introduce yourselves and talk about what you're working on. We're really interested in learning about that. We're doing a number of things during the conference. We have a booth out there where you can help vote on some things that you may think we should be focusing on from our time and investments over the next 12 months. And also, we're running a workshop. So Dr. Sarah Pitts is running a workshop on some new well-being initiatives that we are running, which is going to be incredible. It's called The Art of Psychological Safety. If you're not registered yet, I think it's full. Please scan the QR code and maybe go on the wait list. There may be ways that you can contribute towards helping us with that in the future as well. So in the spirit of that collaboration, what we wanted to do today was to bring NCMEC up onto stage to talk about some of the incredible work that they are doing. I know many of you already work with them and are aware of that, but maybe for some of you who are new to this conference, you're not, and so we wanted to give that opportunity. So with that, I'd like to introduce Fallon McNulty, who's the director of the Cyber Tip Line, to come onto stage and talk about the work that they're doing. So please give her a warm welcome. Thank you.
Great. Good morning, everyone. First, I just want to say thank you to Paul and the entire Concentrix team, not just for having me here today to be able to take up some of those 10 minutes to share the work that our team is doing, but also going to talk to you about some of the work that we did with the Concentrix team last year regarding our hashes. Before we kind of dive into that, also just really thank you to Charlotte, to the entire TSPA. This is my first TrustCon, and can I just say how blown away I am by this conference? Yesterday, I feel like I was running around like crazy trying to decide what sessions I could make it into. It was so nice to connect with so many of you, and really just what a great week to learn from so many experts and people that are far more brilliant than I am in terms of tackling these online harms. So if there's one word that comes to mind for me, it's certainly community so far, just one day in. So, as Paul mentioned, I am here today from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, or NCMEC. For anybody who is not familiar with NCMEC, we are a private, nonprofit organization here in the U.S., and essentially, we were founded in 1984 as the result of a horrible tragedy. So for anyone who's not familiar with NCMEC and our kind of origin story, in 1981, a young boy named Adam Walsh was abducted in Hollywood, Florida, and days later was found to have been brutally murdered. His parents, through that tragedy, saw that there was not a streamlined national effort within the United States on issues of missing and exploited children. Law enforcement was not talking to one another, getting information out to the public was not easily accessible. And so through this tragedy, they really harnessed this energy to create the center to help other children, help other families. And now 40 years later, we are a rather small but mighty nonprofit. We have about 400 employees. We operate dozens of programs of work, ultimately to find missing children, to reduce child sexual exploitation, and to prevent any future victimization, because we believe that every child deserves a safe childhood. Now, I've been with the center for 9 years, and today I'm really here to talk to you about our work as it relates to child sexual exploitation. With that, some of the things I'm going to talk about are serious, of course. It can be difficult to listen to, and so I just ask that everybody who's in the audience is taking care of themselves and is aware that some of the subject matter that I'll just speak to is difficult. But as Paul mentioned, at the center, I have the honor of leading our cyber tip line. It is, again, a small but dogged team who is processing reports each and every day that we are receiving related to online child sexual exploitation. So we serve as the reporting mechanism within the US, both for members of the public as well as electronic service providers or industry members such as yourselves to be reporting into us, and then we serve as a clearinghouse. So what does that mean? It means that if a teen is being sextorted online, or if somebody is threatening to post their images, they don't know what to do, they need help getting that report filed, they can call us. They talk to our team. Our team is going to connect them with resources in their area for additional support. If imagery is online, we are going to be reaching out to you all to try and help get that content removed. We're going to be forwarding those reports on to law enforcement. If you are coming across child sexual abuse material, instances of online enticement, child sex trafficking, any type of child sexual exploitation on your platform, you are able to report into the cyber tip line. Our teams are reviewing everything that's coming through to us with two main purposes in mind. One, we have an incredible volume. Last year, over 36 million reports that the tip line received. And so we are constantly triaging everything that's coming in to determine in what instances is a child imminently at risk. This is happening right now. We need to make sure that law enforcement can go out right now to get that child safeguarded. So that constant triage. Secondly, we serve as the pointer system to determine where in the world do these reports resolve to. We always talk about, we all know, kind of a cliche to say, but the internet is borderless, which means these types of crimes are borderless. Now, we know that regulation and policy is not always borderless when we're talking about different jurisdictions, but we want to ensure that we have connectivity across the globe to be making these referrals. And we do that right now with 160 different countries. So, reports are coming into us. Our team is reviewing them, prioritizing them, getting them out to the appropriate agency so that those children can be safeguarded. When we talk about that review process, what does that entail? And much of it is going to be reading through different narratives, chat information about, could be, again, sextortion, enticement, offenders who are talking about abusing a child that they have access to, and it certainly also includes the files themselves. So last year, I referenced 36 million reports that we received. 99% of those are coming from industry members. So that is the good work that all of the trust and safety teams who are working on child safety are doing to be detecting, disrupting, and reporting this harm. Within those reports, that also includes uploaded files, images and videos of children being exploited or raped or abused. 105 million files last year within those reports. So part of our team's role is reviewing that content, again, to ensure that we are providing categorization of exactly what's being depicted so that when those referrals are going out to law enforcement, they have that information. We are also looking for the files that have never been seen before. Novel child sexual abuse material where we believe that child is still in harm's way. We also have another program of work at the center, our Child Victim Identification Program, that serves as the pointer system within the United States for information about identified child victims or survivors of child sexual abuse material. So that means when an image comes in, our team is very uniquely suited to be reviewing that imagery and to determine this is a child that's previously been identified versus a child that has never been seen before. With that, we also know that, unfortunately, the majority of content that's coming into us is content that has been seen before. And these are not just files. These are not just images. This continued circulation of CSAM re-victimizes children over and over and over again. Survivors who are afraid to be in public, afraid they're going to be recognized. The abuse has ended, but that victimization has not. And this is where really coming to my point here of hash sharing and why this is so important. Charlotte spoke yesterday about stories, tell a story. And there are so many stories that come to my mind of the survivors that we've worked with at the center who are maybe young adults. They're just starting out their careers, and their images are being posted online again. That's interrupting their lives. The images are still alive. They get in contact with NCMEC. They're getting in contact with companies. It gets removed, and then several months later, they're shared again on another platform. And so I don't have a silver bullet approach. There's lots of work that I know all of you who are working on child safety are doing to combat this ever-increasing issue. One of the things, and certainly not the only thing, but still an important tool, is hash sharing. And so again, in the cyber tip line, as we're receiving these files, as we're reviewing all of that content and adding those categorizations, that is also how we are building hash lists of known CSAM. So our CSAM hash list currently has over 9 million entries based on the files that we have seen in the cyber tip line. These are images and videos that have been triple vetted by our team. We use the standard of the US federal definition for child sexual abuse material. And we also know that these are either clearly prepubescent children or children that we know to be identified as under the age of 18 by law enforcement. Now, one of the things that we're really grateful to the Concentrix team for is, over the past several years, lots of discourse about really not having any verification with hash sharing. I have a lot of trust in my team, but why should everyone else, right? And so we talk about, how do we have a third-party audit? And that is something that we did last year. NCMEC put out a call for proposals, heard from multiple companies. Concentrix is the one who ended up doing the work, working very closely with our team. One of the major reasons why that was because the Concentrix team was just so very thoughtful about well-being and safeguarding of their moderators who were going to come in and do this work. I remember having early conversations and hearing about the way they think of wellness and furiously scribbling down notes about things that we could take away and bring back to our team as well. But so last year, towards the end of the year, over the course of several weeks, they had their team come in, reviewed all the unique visual representations of what is on that hash sharing list. And I'm very proud to share that they had a 99.99% agreement rate, which to me is pretty fantastic. And so really excited to share those results and just hopefully provide an additional layer of confidence in these vetted hashes that we have available. Two other platforms that we have I just quickly want to mention is our exploitative list. Those are going to be images and videos of identified victims and CSAM survivors that are either depicting nudity or sexually suggestive content, not reaching that federal definition of CSAM, but we still want to ensure that that imagery is not being circulated online. And finally, our Take It Down hashes. Take It Down is a service that NCMEC launched in 2022. It's free and anonymous, and it's a way for individuals who have possession of images of themselves when they were under the age of 18. So say a teen has a nude image of themselves on their phone. They have some concern that that image is going to be shared. They're able to access this free service to have that hash device side. That hash comes to NCMEC, and we are able to share it out with the industry. So I joked with Paul that I could talk about this for hours and hours. I know that's a lot of information condensed in just a few minutes. I am going to be here all week, as is my colleague, Hannah Wilk. If we haven't met, I would love to connect with you and talk about how we can get some of these resources to your companies if you are not already using the NCMEC hashes and if you have that interest. But also really just thank you all for the work that you do to keep children safe and all users online safe. We know firsthand this is not an easy job, and we just thank you all for your work. And again, every child deserves a safe childhood. Thank you.